Mr. Ramesh Loganathan, President, HYSEA. Mr. Bipin Chandra Pendlia, Secretary, HYSEA. I'm indeed delighted to be part of this 23rd HYSEA Annual Summit and Awards 2015. I'm here because technically I'm the governor. That's my only qualification. Otherwise, I don't think I have a place in this body of experts, particularly youngsters. I belong to the extinguished category and practically to the last century. And now you are the people who are moving into the next century. But all the same, I think it's been delightful to see you people receiving your awards. And I would at the outset like to congratulate all the awardees for the wonderful job that they have done. And I do hope this will spur others also to innovate and think ahead. If I recollect, my memory being short because of my age problem, last time I think I had mentioned the fact that we are in the leading curve of the next technology wave, the convergence of social, mobile, analytics and cloud, and urging you to focus on building stronger product development and R&D capabilities, with specific emphasis on national security as mobility and social media gets mainstream. Last time when we were here, I was talking about the convergence problem, which now with all the systems converging, I said, how exactly do we go about it? And I'm happy that many of you have been thought about it. And this year we have been honoring many people, and apart from that also the startup companies which are really come up. And the high 10 I think was one of the best things, and the social impact. I'm extremely happy that the social impact also has really started making. Well, I would say that as far as Hyderabad is concerned, it's probably one of the best cities today to do business in the field of IT. I recall the days when I assumed charge in Hyderabad. One of my first meetings was with the IT industry, when a whole lot of them told me that we are planning to migrate out of Hyderabad. I still recall the day when I gave them a fairly strong dressing down, to be honest, and said, you shall not move. You shall be in Hyderabad and you will be the pride of Hyderabad. And I'm happy that the industry has stood by this thing and has today done us proud. I think today you have done us proud. And with all the IT clusters, we have an excellent infrastructure. We have all the things that you want as far as Hyderabad is concerned. But the question is, technology being what it is, and it keeps changing so very rapidly, can we afford to remain stagnant and feel proud that we have done something and just stop there? This is something where you get outdated by the minute, if not by the second. And that is where I would request you youngsters to really go about thinking and do more innovative work on technology. I mean, you have a large base on which you can really work. I'm happy that in Hyderabad, for example, we are creating the T-Hub at Gachibowli, which will be for many of the startup companies, and it will be an extremely useful experiment that we are trying. Apart from providing jobs, it will also provide the innovative efforts to many youngsters. I'm extremely happy about the T-Hub that we are looking at. The other thing that we need to really look at, how do we sort of create extensive economic activity within the state and even internationally, and in the process create thousands of direct and indirect jobs. This is again the challenge that is posed to the IT industry. I'm sure the T-Hub would be an extremely useful experiment, which is expected to generate employment for about 3,000 people by the end of 2017, and at least 400 startups. From what little I've seen of the startup companies and the achievements today, I think in the next few years, Hyderabad is poised for a really great leap forward in the IT industry, and I'm sure you will do it. I mean, technology today is, I think the social impact of technology is really very critical today. I mean, while you will focus, many of your companies will focus on revenue earnings, which of course is legitimate and which you have to do. I think what I would really request you all to focus on is more on the social impact part of it. So the social impact is very critical because technology has a role in practically every sector of life. And today, if you're talking of security, it is not just the policing part of it. The policing part of security, I think, is a very minuscule part today when you take the holistic concept of security. It is health security, it is education security, it is food security, it is environment security. These are all the things that we have, energy security, these are all the things that we're talking. And in every field of this, I think technology has a very big role to play. Because if you are able to contribute, I think our education hubs will become more important and more children will get into the education field if technology can be used properly. Health is one sector where I would like you gentlemen to really focus and also try and see how you can make medical treatment less expensive by use of technology. Technology does not mean increase in the expenditure of the patient. It has to mean decrease in the expenditure of the patient. And that is where I would like technology to really come in and see how we can provide health security more inexpensive and more affordable to the normal person. In terms of energy security, you have a big role to play, and I think we need to do that. And in terms of governance, I think that's where I think you people have the biggest roles to play. I was happy to see about the social impact for it and also the corporate social responsibility that many of the companies have been focusing on. I think today, the biggest challenge is the social media. Like last time I had mentioned about the convergence theory, and I've talked about I was happy to note that one of the companies talked of cloud security. In fact, I would be happy if the gentleman would come up for a discussion someday, meet me up and explain to me what exactly is this cloud security that the concept you're talking about. Because I had mentioned my concern about the cloud security last time. I said, how secure is this cloud? And everybody's going to put his data all over there. Can somebody play some mischief? Put a virus there and destroy everybody's data? Or can somebody steal somebody else's data? You talk of encryption, you talk of encipherment, so I wanted to realize it. I'll be happy if the person who got the award for the cloud technology could come up sometime to me, take a meeting with me and discuss exactly what has been done on that. But I think the biggest challenge that is going to be faced by the IT industry is the use of social media. Social media has its own advantages, but as technology is always a twin-phase thing, it also has its disadvantages. Well, the advantages are many. I mean, you can really sort of convey information over a large area of people within seconds. I mean, the whole world can know about it in seconds as to if you want to convey information. It is a great advantage. It's a very interesting thing to do. And how exactly do we go about this social media? Because today you have the tweets, you have the Facebook, you have the WhatsApp, you have, call it what it is. I have no idea because I don't play with any of these things. In fact, your minister has been very angry with me saying he wants me to go on the tweet and the Facebook. I said I shall not. For the simple reason that then I'll start getting tweets and then what do I do with that? I said I will only have to pass it on to you and then again wait for you to give me a response. So Mr. Ramarao has been extremely angry in every meeting that he has with me, sir. He said you must go on the tweets and the Facebook and you must come on the social network. Social network, no, it's excellent. But my point is, can social media, I would just like to leave a few thoughts with you, ladies and gentlemen, because you are the experts. Can social media be misused to artificially boost an individual or malign someone? And how do we approach this challenge? It has its advantage. I told you it has its great reach. It has a wonderful way of talking to people. Is social network analysis and real time and detection analysis possible? How do we do that? How do you use social media to detect events occurring in real time, which may be social, crime related, epidemic related, or natural disasters? How do you really look at sentiments that come across in the social media? How do you really analyze these sentiments and its effect on regions, based on topics, based on sentiments? But can we see what's the period of discussion and the rise and fall in discussion and sentiment on these topics on the social media? Can we aggregate all this and put them on a usable format? Can we develop an analytic engine to use this data and provide different analytics? These are some of the issues which I've been thinking about, because I feel that social media networking, I think, is going to be the biggest challenge that we are going to be faced. And as part of the corporate social responsibility, or what we call the famous public-private partnership that we're all talking of today, you can probably use many of these things, the issues that I have focused, if you can give us solutions, and if you can work with the government. For example, for governance, it becomes extremely important. If we see that the whole lot of people are critical of a particular issue, or feel strongly about a particular issue, we sitting in the portals of power are ignorant. Sometimes we are not in touch with the realities. But then we see that the whole lot of people are suddenly saying that so-and-so are critical of a particular aspect of governance. It will be useful if, so for example, from time to time, a sort of a sheet out or a rollout is brought out by the HYSEA and shared with the government to say, look, this is where you probably seem to be going wrong, or this is where you probably seem to be going right, or this is probably where you need to focus. Rather than focusing on X issue, you need to focus on Y issue, because today that is what is agitating the people's minds. Or suddenly I find, for example, a whole lot of people who are talking of proceeding to Jubilee Hills, which may be a term for a particular location. And if there's a huge convergence of people in Jubilee Hills, is it possible for us to be told that, look, we find that on the social media today, there's a huge amount of hits saying that let us assemble at Jubilee Hills? Because in the past we have seen, in Tahir Square we have seen, in many other places we have seen, large mobs congregating at a place, flash mobs, and the authorities being taken by surprise. I mean, this can happen for various things. I'm not talking only of these things, but even in terms of governance, you could provide extremely useful inputs to us. So how far are I think the HYSEA would be able to work with the government is something which I would like to pose here. And I request that from time to time you should bring out your sort of rollouts saying that, look, this is what we are seeing on the social media. You can probably report only to your minister. That's absolutely fine. To Mr. Ramarao, he'll be quite delighted, and he's a very great user of technology and all the tweets and Facebooks and everything. So you could do that. Because this is where I think we are going to face a challenge next time. Because there are so many millions of messages going on the social media. And where are we? Many of them may be irrelevant. But the question is, yes, there are, Google I think has got a program, Facebook has got a program, and sort of you could probably list down something. But what I am looking at is something where a red light will automatically flash on a particular event of significance, which the government can take note of. A particular aspect of work which the government can take note of. A particular aspect of appreciation which the government can take note of. A particular aspect of criticism which the government shall take note of. Because ultimately the pulse of the people is more important. Standing from the portals of power, we keep making various statements. We are going to do this, we are going to do that, etc., etc. I would like to know what is the social impact of these measures that the government is taking at any point of time. Are they really reaching the intended segment or not reaching the intended segment at all? Because while we may be dreaming that, yes, we have spent so much of money on this sector, but is it reaching the intended segment? And that is where these things will come up. Because what happens is many times, there are a lot of conversation that we people undertake on the dining table, peg table, round table, whatever table you call it, all the tables, but that will not come to our notice. But the social network is something which is very, very public. So I was wondering, I was just thinking aloud today. In fact, I was wanting to take this up for discussion with some of the students and some of the startup companies at a later stage. I've been telling Ramarao also that I would like to sit up with them and ask them, how can you help us on this? Because I feel that that is going to be the next generation challenge is how do we look at social media and how do we use social media usefully for governance, for making people happy, for making life a lot more satisfactory. Cloud computing again, it's a very, very major thing. And everybody is now trying to put his data into the cloud. How far is the cloud safe? How far is it impeccable? How far, you may say encryption, etc., but how is it safe? Can I put a virus into the cloud and destroy all the data? Is that possible? Convergence, again, with all the IT this is converging, how do we really go about this, convergence theory? And these are some of the challenges. That is why I feel that the field of technology, you need to sort of keep on thinking and innovating. And I think a periodic discussion with the government authority or the concerned authorities will be useful, because you may have some excellent ideas which I don't think the government probably has. If you could tell us, look, this is possible. We are seeing this. Would you like to try this? Because I have worked in the past wherever I have by talking to experts, and they have given us various solutions, saying, look, would you like to look at this? Because your minds work much faster. Our minds are all, unidirectional. It's not, whereas yours is multidirectional. You are seeing a whole lot of things which we don't see. So it will be useful if HYSEA probably sets up a forum by which we have some sort of a periodic interaction with the authorities concerned and say how we can use IT for enhancing happiness. Ultimately, I think IT should be used apart from resource generation or whatever it is to make people happy. That should be the ultimate object. And whichever fields you can make it, I think we should be extremely grateful. I'm sure the various startup companies which are here, the youngsters who are here, the students who are here, they are all with brilliant brains, and some of you seniors who can really tell them about your experiences, and both the seniors and the youngsters put their thoughts together. I think life will be a lot more happy for all of us. I wish the deliberations all success, and thank you very much for giving me this privilege to be in your midst this afternoon.